Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. I am your host, Al Richards. And before we get started, I just want to say that I am beyond honored and very, very grateful and thankful to Emergo Academy. My coaches, Dave and Susan Kenny, who are the owners of Emergo Academy. I mean, these guys are just awesome. Um, they train me to be a certified crisis and recovery coach. But even if someone is not interested in being a coach, and just wanting to change their life and how they look at life. This is all about the brain first approach. It's the brain first impact. And it just redefines you. I mean, seriously, it does. You guys have heard me talk about this every week on the show. These guys are awesome. Check out their website, Emergo, Emergo Academy.com. So today we are going to be talking about DUI prevention with my friend, Carolyn Erickson. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you to our friend, Boyd Peterson, for connecting us. So thank you, Boyd. And thank you, Carolyn, for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I am so appreciative of you because I feel like I'm swimming upstream. So I would appreciate any help, any suggestions, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity to at least start DUI prevention with your listeners.
Absolutely. This is what I love about having this platform, right? We talked about it before we started recording, is just to give people an opportunity to get out there. I mean, it's free marketing for you guys. And when you and I first spoke, and then when Boyd was telling me about you, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'd love to have her come on the show because I think it is something that needs to change. A lot of things need to change in our system. It hasn't worked for 50, 60, 70 years. I mean, we're doing the same thing over and over and over, and we're expecting different results, and we're not getting them. And it takes somebody like yourself or somebody else to go, what is going on here? Something's got to change to make things better. So hopefully I will be a really good host today. Like I said, I just got out of surgery like 48 hours ago for a reverse shoulder replacement. So hopefully I'm still focused and on cue. But just again, thank you for being on the show, Carolyn.
And again, I really appreciate this opportunity.
You bet. So I know you and I talked about a month ago about this before we got you scheduled, but what really got you into this? What was it that time when you saw there was a problem and decided to do something about it?
Well, I volunteered at the probation department for 3 years on people that had received DUIs and watched and heard how their lives had just been totally disintegrated. And
Hmm.
sometimes I was concerned that they were going to take their life. So, so I started investigating where's the education on DUI? Where is the information to let people know what's going to happen to them if they get a DUI? And I came up with zero. It's all been about punishment, um, increasing the penalties, trying to scare people with crashes, and and that's all good, but it isn't working because the DUI statistics are not going down. And
Yeah.
one question I always ask is, are you aware you can't get into Canada if you have a DUI? You were very smart and said, yes, I was aware of that. But I've asked that question probably 200 times and nobody knows about it.
Hmm.
So that's, um, I asked that question of a senator and he immediately returned my email, and that has resulted in it's going to be on the driver's test because he saw the importance of people learning what will happen to them so they can avoid it and quit driving impaired.
Yeah. So what are the statistics in Canada? Do you know that of, I mean, I'm sure people in Canada drink and drive too, just like here in the United States, right? So are their penalties different than ours?
I haven't researched Canada,
Okay.
so I can't talk to that. I had something.
They just don't want people from the United States who have had the DUIs in their country.
they consider a felony, and it usually is a felony, and they don't let people with felons into their country.
Okay.
Just why invite the bad stuff, or why invite the bad people in?
Yeah.
So what I've done is we all hear about the tragedies of DUI deaths. And what I'm doing is flipping the coin and looking at what happens to the driver after he receives a DUI, because there's no education out there. And this all came about because of my sense of fairness. I thought this is chicken poop, that there's no information out there. And so I started doing research and found all the penalties that happened. Like, you cannot be, well, let me get my little paper here.
Okay.
Well, very first of all, people think it's a traffic ticket. It is not a traffic ticket. It's a criminal offense, which activates a criminal record, criminal background record on people. This is contacted anytime you apply for a job, credit rating, and it's there forever. It does not come off. Well, it comes off if you get a pardon from the president. So
Well, and this I do know. I know that the United States is the only country, at least as far as I know. I've not really gone deep in the research, that we are the only country that holds people's record over their head their entire life. Where other countries, you go in, if you get arrested and you get sent to prison or jail or whatever it may be, you do your time. And once you do your time, it's erased. It's done because you've already done it. But the United States, and this is just my take on it. I'm not saying this is how it is, but it's just my take. Since I've seen a lot of it in the last 4 to 5 years, it's a way to keep you in the system for them to make money. It's a money making machine. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with the individual helping, excuse me, helping the individual. It's all about how much money can we make off of this individual. That's just my take on it.
no, and you're absolutely correct. Every first DUI offense has a $1,400 fine. And I was going to do the math, and it's just out of my head. Last year Utah had 10,923 arrests. If you times that by 1,400, that's I think in the millions. I don't know.
How many was it again? 10,000?
10,000.
What was the final number? 10,000 and what?
923.
Oh my gosh.
That's just Utah.
That's a
And
chunk of change.
I know, and it goes to support the court systems, the attorneys, the drug testing facilities, the counselors and classes. So I don't really know how that's distributed, but I do know they make that amount of money.
Yeah.
And I really hope that they are willing to give up that money to save lives.
Yeah. Well, and the person who gets the DUI has to spend a lot more than just that 1,400, right? Because a lot of times they actually force you to get a breathalyzer in your vehicle, which I think is close to 2 grand. I mean, again, I'm not 100% sure on it, but I
Oh,
know it's pretty expensive.
and also they've got ankle bracelets now
Mm,
that detect alcohol. So yeah,
wow.
they can make you wear one of those too. And I'm not really sure. I think they're about $75 a month. Um, and if you're in them for 2 or 3 years, that's a lot of change.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, and besides that, your interest rate will increase 40 to 50% for 5 years.
Oh my gosh. That I did not know.
Yay, I found something. And um, okay, I'm just going to go into this.
Okay.
You may be terminated from your job because you cannot be a nurse, a doctor, a fireman, a policeman in the military, um, and a lot of jobs will just fire you if you get a a DUI, but
Yeah.
nobody knows that. So here you've got a $1,400 fine plus all this other stuff. How can be house arrest, on probation, and you've lost your job. And also you might lose your license. So I look at it as like a whirlpool of junk that just pulls people down in their life. And this all came about really because of my sense of fairness. I thought this is not right. Maybe I already said this. This is not right that there's no education so people will know ahead of time what happens. Right now, they learn it after, which is too late. The damage is done.
Yeah. Yeah, most certainly. Gosh, there was something I was going to ask you too on that. And that's another thing too, when you talk about all fairness, Carolyn, is I won't say names, but I have a friend who was taking care of another friend who was asked by this person's family to keep an eye on him. This person had a lot of money and he had had, I think, 5 or 6 DUIs and had not spent one day in jail and still had his license.
You're
Now,
key.
I know people who got their very first DUI and lost their license. So again, it's back to that fairness, right? If somebody's got the cash to pay it, they'll take the cash, but they'll allow them to still keep getting on the roads.
Was that in Utah?
It was here in Utah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because supposedly in the punishments, your third one results in a year and, well, 5 years in prison. So yeah, I didn't know that. And I have heard of other cases where they've skated. Nothing's happened to them. And so there's somebody waiting to kill somebody else. I'm released on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard a statistic a couple days ago, and it was not here in Utah, though.
Uh-huh.
This was based in Washington. And I don't know if you've seen it. The video was on social media and it says, I want the people to guess whether this is the NBA or the NFL. And it started naming off all these things that happened. DUIs was one of them, right? And I think it was like 30 or 40 something DUIs. And it was senators, people who sit at the Capitol. They're getting off, but the rest of us, again, talking about fairness, are getting the shaft. And I love what you talk about by having fairness. However it should be that way for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, none of it. It should all be fairness. And also, I did not realize until I spoke to you that a lot of people didn't know these laws. I mean,
Oh,
I was told as a teenager, don't drink and drive. And we did anyway, right? We used to go to kegs. And of course, back in those days in West Jordan, it was all farmland. You got on the street at 1 o'clock in the morning, you didn't pass a car. Not like it is today. You pass thousands of them on the way home, you
yeah.
know?
Well, and going along with that, out of those 10,000, I'm just going to say 10,000 arrests, 77%. So that is 84,000 people. This was their first DUI.
77%.
77%. And it really takes a toll on young men. The okay, DUIs account for 30% of the deaths on the highway. Of that 30%, young men between the age of 24 and 34 make up 70% of those that get killed. So if you've got a friend in that age group, get his head where he can learn something.
Yeah. And what was that age again, Carolyn?
24 to, yeah, 24 to 35,
35. Okay. Okay.
which is to me really sad because that's when they're forming their life and deciding what they're going to do, maybe getting married and having families. So I think it affects a huge ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and also just okay, they had the 10,000 arrests. So that talks about taking up lots of court time because they go in to get sentenced and whatever. And that court time could be used somewhere else. That's another cost that people don't realize. Or if you hire an attorney, that's $1,500 right off the bat.
Hmm.
It's just my sense of fairness said this just is not right. People need to know, and then they can make a choice. And
Yeah.
my other saying is there's no cure for stupid. If you know this and you still drive impaired, then you deserve the consequences.
Well, and it's so crazy with the way that things are nowadays, right? To even do that. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
back in my days, yes, there were taxis. You could call it taxi, but now you've got Uber, you got Lyft, more popular than taxis are because I know people who still to this day um, that they like to go out sometimes and go to a bar, and they always Lyft or Uber. They never drive their own vehicle to
Mhm.
make sure that they're being safe for them and also not harming someone else. And I've even heard sometimes you hear it on, excuse me, social media or the news, which I don't watch the news, but you hear of somebody that's very wealthy and they get pulled over for a DUI. And it's like, you got tons of money. You don't have a limo driver or an Uber that somebody can take you. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That's that's the stupid part.
Right. That is the stupid part. So, what is it? I know, but I'm going to ask you, what is it that you were doing to make a change?
Okay, I'm very proud that in 2023, I got this in every Utah public driver's ed class. So that's, I hope that's a good start because those kids are 16 and just even being aware, I think will help. Then it's going on the Utah driver's test. They have to take a class on DUI education, which I'm really happy for. And that is going to be a slow process to get the information out. What I'd really like to do is to get companies to, I would love it if they would require their employees to watch a DUI education program. But
Hmm.
if because like take hospitals, all their employees, and if they knew what happens if they get a DUI, they lose their job, first of all. And I don't know if they're aware of that or not. I know pilots are aware and truck drivers are aware that they'll
Yeah.
lose their license if they get a DUI. But I just, the driver's license, I'm really pleased with, excited about, but it's going to be a slow process. Uh, when you get 10,000 arrests, I don't know how many new licenses are out every year, but so anyway, I would really like companies to require their employees to take this. Then another thing I would love is that if insurance companies would say, if you take this and get a certificate that you've taken this DUI education, we'll reduce your premiums by X amount. Because I think that would save the insurance company bundles, huge amounts.
Yeah.
Um, and right now I am having trouble getting hold of insurance companies. I, you know, anyway, I'll do it. It'll just
Yeah.
take.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and this is kind of how I see it too. We all go through life and we make a lot of bad choices,
Mhm.
right? And sometimes the choices we make are terrible choices. We harm ourselves, we harm other individuals, and I don't want to see anybody get killed on the roads. I've got friends who have lost children due to a drunk driver hitting them
Yeah.
and killing them, and I just couldn't imagine. I mean, I've got grandkids that are getting close to driving, and I just can't imagine having that phone call or hearing something like that. So I love that getting people more educated on it, I think is a really good thing. But I also feel too we all deserve chances. I
Yeah,
mean, if I was a professional athlete or a Hollywood movie star or whatever, or up at the Capitol, no matter what capital, whatever state you're in,
yeah.
and I happen to do something like that, I would end up probably paying a ton of money and probably get myself off. Even though
Oh,
I killed somebody, right? Even though I harmed somebody or took many, many lives, not just one.
yeah.
However, but the everyday person, we don't have a chance. We don't have a chance at all.
Well, there's not a lot of sympathy in the courts, and because of the death. Um, and I'm glad you brought that up because I have a section in my program that says don't live in the if only world. If only I hadn't driven. If only I had my job back. If only I hadn't killed someone. If only I'd been smart. If only I'd hired a Uber. You see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
And
And
that,
I know that's a fine line, right? Because if somebody was drinking and driving and they killed a family member of mine, of course, I'm not saying I wouldn't be angry. I'd be angry as hell. I mean,
Mhm.
I'd probably want to rip their damn head off, to be honest with you, for
Sure.
being so irresponsible, you
Mhm.
know. However, again, jail and prison and stuff, I don't know. I mean, you've done the studying. It's proving that it's not working. It's not changing anything. And this is why you're doing what you're doing is to make a change.
Yes. To me, it's just a no-brainer. Why don't we prevent DUIs versus punish after the damage is done? That's wasted energy,
Yeah.
in my mind, anyway.
Gosh, what are thoughts like this? What if down the road here in the near future, they put some type of alcohol detecting device in every single vehicle, an impaired thing in everyone's vehicle? That way, no one could get in because your car wouldn't start until you blew in it, right? Now, I
Yeah,
guess if you wanted to sneak around the bush and go, I'll get someone that's sober to blow in it for me, but anybody that would do that to allow someone who was impaired to drink is that's not cool.
yeah, that's a great idea. Um, and I know that you can rent those, but they're again like $75 a week or something.
Yeah. Yeah, make it a part of the vehicle, like a standard. Look how long it took to get backup cameras because so many kids were getting backed over, and run over because people couldn't see them. They didn't know they were there. And we finally did it.
Well, this is just so important to me, and gosh, if we could save, even if this program, 10 people hear about it and 10 lives are saved,
Yeah.
we'll never know. That's the hard part. You don't know the real effect it's having until the DUI deaths start going down, and then we'll know.
Yeah.
Let me just go through what's at risk.
Okay.
Um, the medical field, any profession, education, professors, bachelors, teachers, coaches, law enforcement, state and federal, pilot's license, any job requiring a security clearance, because with the criminal background check, you can't get a security clearance. Um, Plumbers and electricians, armed forces, firefighters, childcare. You can't do nursery or preschool. A mental health uh, career, any job requiring a driver's license, and any job requiring international travel. Because there's 30 countries that won't let you in. So that cuts out business, vacation, stuff like that.
Wow. That's a huge hit in your life.
Oh, it is. And I think about students that are in college, they've gone 2 years to be a teacher or uh, a mechanical engineer, whatever, and getting a DUI will knock them out. They cannot get that certificate.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm all into prevention.
Well, it's definitely a touchy subject, and I love the prevention part of it. When Boyd told me about again what you was looking at doing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think this is really awesome, and it is. It's a fine line because when someone loses their life because of somebody being impaired, again, and I'm touching on this a second time, but I know it's a very, very fine line. Do we discipline them? Do we? I mean, I don't think they should get off scot free at all because that's definitely the wrong choice what they did and they killed somebody, but I'm sure I'm sure with more hands and more people looking at this to be able to come up with different ways to prevent this. And I love that you've gotten in high schools. I'd like to see it start as soon as junior high because I remember being in junior high back in the 70s and we were sneaking wine into school, to have a little sip at lunch, you know.
Well, I didn't go to that kind of school, but doggone. Speaking of that, Utah has a not a drop law. And so you cannot have a drop of alcohol until you're 21.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people start drinking at, well, we'll say 16, 17, 18. And if they get a ticket, their license is suspended until they're 21.
Hmm.
But it just, to me, it's just so easy. Let people know, given the education, that your life will go down the drain if you get a DUI.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot more education than what they're showing. I mean, you see commercials, that they're like, you know, um, if you get pulled over, even if you're slightly buzzed, you still got a chance of getting arrested and things like that. But as far again, the education of not knowing how your life is going to change so drastically
Ex-
after the fact.
exactly. See, they stop with the DUI, but they don't go into now this, you've brought all this turmoil into your life. They don't, that's the part that's missing.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely.
So
So what is it that you're on top of right now? What is it that you're working on right this very moment? Are you still working on getting more of it out there, or you've got something else that you're focused on to get to the next level?
I wish.
Okay.
I've got a website, DUIrisks.com,
Okay.
and that's I charge $29 for that, and that includes a 6 lesson course that goes through everything that will happen. A lot of what we've talked about today. And then you can take a test and get a certificate that you've passed it. Then, even if you don't enroll, there's a lot of good information on that website that's just there.
Yeah.
So, um, right now, my focus is on HR departments to try and get this introduced to employees because I think that's the fastest way. I
Hmm.
would love for the state to require every state employee to take it and to pass it. Those are big areas. Maybe the armed forces, they that would be a really big help. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Just
Especially those, like you say, armed forces and like our first responders, because I've
yes,
known many, many first responders throughout my life. I've become friends with many of them. And I won't say all of them, but a large percent of them, they drink like crazy when they're off work. And it's they see a lot of stuff we don't see, right?
yes,
They're just trying to numb their feelings because there's a lot of that stuff they're not able to talk about, you
yeah,
know. And I have a friend who started a program to help with that also, to have a place where people can go because especially for us men, a lot of time we allow our egos to kick in and we're too ashamed to show weakness, to show that we're battling something that we're not being able to handle. And the more that we keep it hidden, it's like holding that beach ball under the water. You can only go down so far before that beach ball finally explodes, right?
yes.
So I think that's a really good idea.
And that opens up something else. A lot of people don't hear about DUIs because people are so ashamed that they got them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk about it. And so that's another, that education is not being shared because of the shame involved with it.
Yeah.
And talking about the um, people that drink to numb themselves kind of would lead into my simple six if you want to go there now. Or
Sure,
we,
whatever you want to do, you bet.
okay, well, simple six came about because my granddaughter was always beating herself up verbally. And uh, I thought, you are a wonderful girl. Stop this. So, anyway, I came up with Simple Six, which is two statements of gratitude every day, two compliments or recognizing two other people every day, and two compliments or recognition of yourself every day. And people love it until it gets to the compliment myself. But
That's a tough one.
it is tough because somewhere in our past, whatever, it was put down, don't be conceited. Don't say how great you are. And I want to bring that up. That's, you can be your own best friend now just by saying something nice about you. And you can even whisper it. You don't even have to talk it out loud if you want, or
Yeah.
just think it. But it's gratitude is more and more being shown to be such a powerful place to be. And I love gratitude. I mean, I go through my day almost, gee, I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for that. And so it's a nice place to be. And also the complimenting, the colleges did a study on children, I think they were 5 or 6, on the difference with people, with their teachers complimenting them versus reprimanding them. They had a 30% increase in the kids that got compliments.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of got off on that because of the teenage suicides. They're so tragic and they're increasing, and they just need to be able to say, I'm a good person. I'm really happy with who I am. I give of myself. I love other people, and I'm just grateful for the people that surround me. That's a different thing than saying, don't be such a dumb shit. And
Yeah.
why'd you do that? Why'd I do that? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, that's how society has groomed us, right? I mean,
yes.
seriously, it has. And I would like to share this. Um, I took some training this past year, and one of the sections in the training, I don't remember which module it was that we hit, but it said that the best way to start your day out, first thing in the morning, turn on the light, look at yourself in the mirror, and seriously stare into your own eyes and tell yourself, I love you. I am amazing. I am full of gratitude. I am grateful. And thank you, God, for giving me this day. And I
I
tell you
love
what,
that.
it starts my day off so well. And it helps, not saying that crap doesn't happen down the road, because it has. However, I have that ingrained in my brain so much now because I've been doing it so consistently that it helps me to pull myself back in to be grateful again. And I've told quite a few people, they say, well, I'm very grateful, but then you hear them complain about stuff all the time. It's like, well, you can't do both. The two don't fit. You either got to be grateful or you're not. Oh, wrong finger, or not be grateful. I almost gave you the wrong finger, Carolyn. But
Not a,
seriously, no. But yeah, that's how I see how it works anyway.
right. Um, and gratitude is just, anyway, I love that, what you just said about looking in the mirror. A lot of people can't look in the mirror at them in their eyeballs.
Mhm.
So we are all just so wonderful, and wake up and recognize it and be
Yes.
grateful for it.
I agree. When we get off the show, it's hard for me to write real quick since I got my arm in the sling. Would you email me those six, the simple six, so I can make sure I put that in my notes? I want to make sure I have it in my notes for the show.
Okay, and that's a website too. It's just
My
mysimple6
simple six.
with the number.
Okay. So I can find those on that website.
Yeah, .com. And that's just a freebie I would love everybody. I
Okay.
keep wanting to write a book, but that's hasn't happened yet. So,
Well, when it's meant to, right? That's how I kind of see it, but
yeah.
yeah.
So, oh, one other thing about DUIs is that you lose trust. People won't trust you anymore.
Hmm.
So, are you going to let somebody drive your kids that has got a DUI?
Hell no, right?
Are you
Yeah.
are you going to hire them in your company? You
Yeah.
see what I mean? And that trust, once it's lost, it's really hard to get back.
Yes, it is. It takes just a second to lose it and almost a lifetime to get it back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we could say to ourselves, I trust myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, it also goes again too of I think with your education too is getting people to understand the choices that we have to make.
Mhm.
Right. We all have that choice. In between our thoughts, when it's going from neuron to neuron, or however you want to see it, you got that gap. And in between that gap is when you make your choice. And we really have to stop and think a little bit more about our choices of what we've done. I've had some close calls in my life, just going, if I just would have listened to the first thought that crossed my mind, I wouldn't have been in this situation. Now here I am. I almost had a chance to lose my life or watch somebody lose their life because of the choices that we just made, just because we thought it was going to be fun.
Mhm.
So it's like we got to think a little bit more.
Yeah, and when before you almost gave me the wrong finger,
Yes.
uh, our minds they can only hold one thought at a time, and that thought is our choice. So people need to understand I'm in charge of what I think. I don't have to listen to Susie Q and what her thought is. I'm at choice. It's my freedom, thank heavens, to
Yeah.
choose what I want to think. So I can think good, happy thoughts, or I can think awful, icky thoughts.
Well, and also that peer pressure, right? Like a lot of our
Yes.
younger generation feels right now too. I don't want to say hanging around the wrong crowd because not everybody does that. However, it is that peer pressure. And I remember having it in high school. It's like, come on, let's just go do it. It'll be fun. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Well, let's think about it, but we're teenagers, right? Our brains are somewhere else and we're looking for fun and excitement.
Yeah.
However, also, to be able to have that education in with the DUI education as well, to say, look, we have choices and we can make our own choice. No one has to make it for us.
And also, it's none of their business.
Hmm.
It's your
Right.
business. So you
Yeah.
don't have to justify it. This is the way it is for
Yep.
me.
Yeah. Stay on your side of the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is there anything else that you'd like to share? I mean, you've shared a lot of stuff already. I love your simple six. I love the whole idea behind that. I really love that you're getting into schools, what you're doing with the driver's test, driver's ed. I think all that is just amazing. What a huge start. And how long have you been doing this?
Um, really serious, probably about a year, but it's been on my mind for probably 4 years.
Wow.
It's just I'm just determined to do it. So whatever that looks like, I'm gonna do.
Yeah. You've come a long way in just a year, Carolyn. Oh my gosh.
I feel really good about it. Yeah. It's like I say, to me, it's just common sense. Oh, what else I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start talking to the other states. Arizona paid $9 million in 1 year on DUI deaths.
Oh my gosh.
That's like hello.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe it was billion. And the United States pays, I think it's like $123 billion a year. I mean, it's huge. Maybe it's trillion. I don't want to say that and when I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of money that we could we could use in schools, we could use anywhere. But
Well, a lot of money and also a lot of lives that have been lost.
oh, huge, huge.
Yeah.
Um, Let me just, oh, I think I already talked about I did the 77%,
Hmm.
84,000 people. One other thing with that statistic is that puts those 10,000 people out of the workforce, 84,000 out of the workforce available because they've lost that privilege to hold those jobs. So it affects us two way. It increases volume and reduces workforce.
And does that increase like oh, what word am I looking for? Like government assistance? Because they're not able to survive if they can't get a job, right?
That's a good idea. I haven't, to me, that would be necessary, but it would kind of irritate me that we're supporting DUI offenders.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
But
Okay.
they have families. No, that said, I'm going to research that and see if that disqualifies them from public assistance.
Yeah, because I mean, if it does in a way, I mean, it literally takes their life completely gone. How are they supposed to support their family?
Yeah. No, that's
Homelessness has already increased. That's just going to increase more of it.
yeah. Just let me get this out of here.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have turned that off.
Oh, no worries. I didn't even hear it.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm out of the picture here for some reason. Okay. I'm sorry. We were talking about public assistance.
Yeah. Yeah. And if
Um,
you lower there you go. Now I got you in view. Okay, got
okay.
it.
Um, like I said, I'm going to research that. That's a good question.
Okay. Yeah, it is interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah. See, I learned something new. Yay.
Well, we both are. That's what's cool about doing a show like this is I'm always learning. I'm always picking something up from my guests, which is helping, it helps educate me and that's what we all need, right? That's what's cool about having people share their voice and a dream or a vision that they have because you never know. Somebody may hear this show and if you're okay with it, again, this is up to you how people can find you. And I'll post it on the notes, whether it's just an email. We don't need to share your phone number, of course, or even just a way they can get a hold of you on your website and just say, hey, I've got these questions, right? You never know what kind of connections could be made there.
I would love that.
Okay. So do you want me to put your websites down on there or your email as well, or
I,
just the websites?
I think the websites, the email, and my phone number. I love to talk to people
Okay. All right. I will add that all into the show notes then.
because almost everybody has an idea. Like you were talking to yourself in the mirror in the morning.
Hmm.
That was an expansion of me complimenting myself. But that was a huge, I think, really important uh, activity.
Well, it's changed my life. I know that. It's
Yeah,
really changed my life. I just realized it. So, I was in the hospital yesterday. I had to stay overnight, and I finally realized I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't looked in the mirror yet. So I had to get myself to the restroom so I could get in there and say that to myself.
yeah.
Because when you have different things happen in your life, it can take you out of your sequence pretty quick, pretty easy. So even if you forget to do it in the morning, but then you remember it, you can do it anywhere. You can do it in your car. I mean, you can go to work and go in the restroom and say it. People may, if they come in and they may think you're crazy talking to yourself, but it's okay. What the hell?
Works.
It works.
And I'm going to add that into my simple six, if that's okay with you.
Oh, absolutely. You bet. Because it was shared with me. All I'm doing is sharing it.
That's all I'm doing. Trying
Yeah,
to, just looking for people that are listening.
there you go. Well, Carolyn, is there anything else you would like to share before we sign off? Is there something that you didn't hit on that you would like to?
I'm sure there is, and it's not going to come in my mind until we say goodbye.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll be in the if only world. If only.
Okay, I love it. Well, and that's fair enough because I think that happens to all of us. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, is there any final thoughts you would just like to share before we sign off?
Um, well, if you have people that you love and care about, share these websites with them. This is everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. And if we can just get this knowledge out, um, I started out thinking I'd make money on it, and I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't care. I just want this knowledge out.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and good for you for doing this, Carolyn. I mean, seriously, anybody that sees an issue somewhere and decides to take their own time and their own dollar to make a change, I mean, I tip my hat off to you for it because that's when change does happen, right? It just starts with an idea.
yeah,
And as long as you have that desire, I think at least my version of it is our higher power starts placing the right people in front of us to get to the point because it is all about helping other individuals.
yeah. Well, it's just my sense of fairness uh, has invaded and taken over my mind. So,
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm okay with that.
That's good. Well, again, Carolyn, thank you. And thank you, Boyd Peterson, for connecting. Carolyn,
Yes.
it's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you. And I hope to see you in person so I can give you a hug. I'm a hugging person. So
Oh,
when I see you, whenever I do, you're going to get a big hug from me. So thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
I'm a hugger too.
Awesome. That is
Oh,
awesome.
just one other thing. It's
Yes.
really fun in the grocery store or anywhere you are, just to be aware of people that you could compliment on. You just say, I love your hair, I love your shoes, I love your purse. And the big smile they have is really fun. It's a good game.
You know what? I love that you said that, Carolyn, before we sign off. So I'm in the hospital and my nurse, her name, the day I had my surgery, her name is Lizzie. And she wasn't feeling so good, so she had a mask on, but all you could see was her eyes. And my daughter was there, and my granddaughter was there.
Mhm.
And I said, Lizzie, I says, um, just to let you know, I am not making an advancement on you, but I said, I just want you to know your eyes are just freaking just gorgeous. They are just beautiful. I mean, I just locked on them. And you could tell she smiled because you could see through the mask her cheekbones raise up. And she goes, oh my gosh, you have no idea how bad I needed to hear that. Because she goes, I've been having some kind of allergy or something. I feel like my eyes are all puffy. And I'm like, well, Lizzie, they are not. They are just beautiful eyes. And so she thanked me later. So when she was getting off shift, she came in to introduce the next nurse. And she says, is there anything we can get you before we walk out? And I says, gosh, for some reason I just got the munchies. Even though I had already had dinner after my surgery, I had the munchies. Well, about 15 minutes later, all of a sudden Lindsay comes running in my room and she goes, Al, I went and snuck a whole bunch of goodies for you. She brought me some like potato chips, some cookies, some granola bars, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my dear, thank you so much. That was so cool of her. But you are right. It just enlightens people.
Yeah, it's just really fun. And you feel really good about it, and they feel really good. And maybe that'll catch on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Carolyn, again, thank you for your time. And I just want to say thank you to Emergo Academy for sponsoring this show. Dave and Susan Kenny, I love those guys. They are actually my coaches. I talk to them quite often. Matter of fact, they've been checking on me since I had my surgery, and that really means a lot to me. I want to say thank you to our past guests and our future guests. And most of all, I want to say thank you to our listeners, guys. Here it is March, and this show just hit 5 years this month, and I'm just so grateful that I have individuals like yourself who continue to listen and people who want to come on the show and share their story. And I'm going to give you a heads up. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I am thinking about rebranding the show, just so you know. So there may be a slight change down the road. I just don't know yet. I'm waiting for that feel-good feeling inside to decide if it's the right move. But we're going to leave you with this, as we do at the end of every show. Remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.